Hello everybody and welcome back to the Ammo Bus Videos YouTube channel. I'm Ammo Bus Videos, otherwise known as Ammo Central, depending on what day of the week and what video you're watching, and welcome to Lincolnshire, specifically Gainsborough in the Lincolnshire map. Now a bit ago Mr Moose expanded the map, included some extra exciting services, but we've also got to remember that we still have the base routes as well, including the very nice Park Springs Circular. And in this video we're going to be taking this lovely studio Polygon Lite, taking a little break from the Renown for video, just so we can continue to enjoy what is going on with the Renown. And we're going to be taking a little trip, all being well, if I can find the correct duty on here. It'll be here somewhere. There we go. And we're going to do a little round trip on the one that's actually quite later in the day. We're going to be doing a trip on the one to the drive and back. So I've got to actually change the time quite far ahead, because that's the only one of these I could find. Yes, I do want to set it that far. So there we go. So we're going to be doing a late evening drive with the lovely street lights. Ignore the registration. It's just a random X for Sheffield example. But we're going to be using the lovely McGills repaint pack. We drove with the shorter 10.8 metre street light on Strathshire with the repaint pack, and now want to use one of the longer examples, the 11.5 metre Daimler, and that, as you can see, was painted in a slightly different livery, the Eastern Scottish livery. Basically McGills, having taken over the first Scotland East empire, wanted to sort of rebrand it in a... Yeah. I've wanted to rebrand it in a retro fashion, and have gone with, I believe it was Midland Scottish we drove last time, and now we've got Eastern Scottish with a lovely green livery. So these are the services that operate into Edinburgh predominantly. So let's... There we go. And I will do this manually, purely because otherwise it just will cause issues. So we're doing the drive. These do run sort of cross town throughout the day in this variation, but we're just doing a peak evening trip. So this bus is theoretically on this duty. It's come off another service, parked up for a little bit, and is covering a peak time additional run on this route. So it's not going to be the best parking in the world. It really isn't. I might have to pull it onto the crossing so they all get on. There we go. And then let's... Not that one. I need that one first. There we go. And then... it's one of them. There we go, it's that one. There's two different codes it can be, and I always get them mixed up, because one of them is the Studio Polygon, and one of them's the Master Switch Studios login code. So I'm also going to switch on the arrows, because it has been a while since I've done this run, and I can't remember which way around we go. But we've got a lovely, quiet bus on our way out, you never know, we might pick up people going in. So I don't drive the street light that much. There was a comment recently about people wanting me to sort of drive some necessarily the older stuff, and although the street light is newer, is a newer vehicle in life. There we go, the drive. It's a newer vehicle in life than the Renown is. In game it has been around a lot longer than the Studio Polygon Renown. It's undergone quite a few reincarnations. This is the latest one. When the vehicle was first launched into the game, it was very high poly. It was very difficult for folk like me on my older laptop setup to be able to drive it, purely because of the lag. There were certain maps I just could not drive it on. And yes, my rig has updated, but so has the vehicle. I remember even upgrading, and I still had issues driving the vehicle. So they upgraded it and simplified it a little bit, still kept the important details and bits like that, and made it more user-friendly for folk with not so high-end PCs. And it is now an absolutely tremendous motor to drive. And it's one of these because folk don't tend to like streetlights too much in real life. I don't mind them, to be fair, and I'll tell you why shortly. But because folk don't tend to like streetlights, not many people tend to ever drive this vehicle. But I do love a good drive of it from time to time. Now, the reason I really do like streetlights to be totally against what most other people would think is purely down to the South Yorkshire ones. And I'm very excited because at the time I'm filming this, I've just spent a fair bit of time away in the Chilterns working. Don't get me wrong, I've got some amazing videos. Go and check out the Animal Central channel. There are some amazing, pretty much everything you want to know about the local bus scene in Aylesbury, from depot visits, rare workings, scenic routes, thrash runs, absolutely everything. You want to go and check out the Animal Central channel. I've been here a month, and I've pretty much filmed everything. I've seen everything there is to see. So there's some phenomenal videos on the channel. But I'm very excited because when I bring up Sheffield, I'm going there this weekend. Quite a lot of friends there. So yeah, that's why I'm in a good mood when I bring up Sheffield. Yes, it's predominantly Sheffield. Now, when I first moved there, I'm having a year off from there at the moment, and I'm so excited to return. When I first moved there, and as I say, it was that good moving back. I never really liked the streetlights. I was always a little bit, I don't really want a streetlight. I really want to avoid them. And the more I went on them, bearing in mind at that time we had the SM13s, pretty much all gone now, the SK63s, quite a lot of them have gone. We've then got new SK63s from Southampton, some, I want to say SM13s, I think they are SM13s from the Potteries in Leicester. So it's basically the vehicles are slightly, some of them are newer than the original streetlights were. Some of them have obviously transferred over to replace the ones that were on lease, because all of Sheffield streetlights were on lease, the main batches, rather than purchase. So they've just moved some purchase streetlights across basically to replace the ones that have gone off lease. But they're all about 10 years old at the time, 8, 9, 10 years old. And they were all absolutely knackered. So some of them were still phenomenal motors, but most of them were very high mileage and very, very tired. Now, at the point that I initially moved down to Sheffield, it was during just after the main pandemic stuff. It had only just been taken over by new management, and Sheffield and South Yorkshire generally was a pretty dire operation. It was pretty low on quality. It wasn't really that respected. They'd not really had many new buses in recent times, and the only new vehicles they'd had were the ones that the PT had forced them to get to keep certain contracts and to have good relationships with other operators. So there wasn't many new vehicles at the time, so to speak. And as I say, the ones that will that do? The ones that were new, that looks nice. The ones that were new were sort of PT funded, had to get them to work with Stagecoach on quality contracts and stuff like that. So they were all the HEV single deckers and deckers. But as a result, vehicles like the streetlights did really suffer on poor maintenance. When the new management took over, breakdowns reduced by 43% within the first 6 months, that I thought was absolutely phenomenal. And you notice that the fleet started to improve, but the streetlights themselves were still, some of them still had a lot of character. Now, people always say that renowns and things like that have character, Olympians have character, and they have character when they're healthy. Now, something like a street light has character when it's poorly, when it's not well. And at the time before they all went off lease, a lot of the 630s, knowing full well they were going off lease, lapsed a little bit in quality, and as a result, were really, really fun to sample, because some of them had blown exhaust that were phenomenal, some of them had a turbo whistle, some of them were just really loud, and I really, really enjoyed sampling them all. I mean, you can check out the videos, there's still some releasing as well, as I have quite a backlog on this channel, backseat videos, to sort of keep the channel going. Some are already out, some that will be released in the next few weeks and months. So do check them out. Some of them really, really did have some character, and I've always thought that when a street light is on a really, really base local service, 20-mile-an-hour run, it's pretty boring. Everybody will agree it's pretty boring. It's not really that exciting. There's not much to it. However, when you take a street light and put it on a fast run, or you give it a blown exhaust and you take it down country lanes, it does, yes, don't get me wrong, you'd rather have like a cadet or a dart, or even an E200 on something like that, but it still has some character, and it's still, that looks really nice. I still really, really enjoy riding one. I mean, I enjoy riding an E200 as well. I'm not so much bothered with MMCs. Now, that would be where I'd draw the line, actually. I'll go on MMCs if they're brand new. So let's say it's literally the been out. I don't know why I stopped, to just assume somebody were getting off. But no, I'll go on MMCs if they're like brand new buses and wanting to see all the features and get a little ride in them and stuff like that. But on the main front, I'm not really too bothered with MMCs. I don't mind street lights. I think street lights have a bit of character, not so much the brand new ones. So again, I'm the totally polar opposite to the MMCs. But I think the older street lights have a lot of character. They get tired very easily and do sound pretty interesting when they're tired. E200s, I can do the brand new ones, and then again older E200s. So there's that similarity. But yeah, and I mean, it might be quite strange for some of you to hear is that, but I do like myself a good E200 and a good old street light. And as I say, I can entirely blame First South Yorkshire for having interest in street lights. If it was just up to the West Yorkshire ones, then that interest would not be there at all. And here we are at the terminus, so let's... And there we go, one to Gainsborough, packed quite far away from the curb there. Update that, literally has a minute, and then off we go back into the centre. So yeah, I really don't mind the buses. I mean, don't get me wrong, it will be pretty miserable when the world is just MMCs and streetlights. That will be pretty miserable. But as I say, it's compared to what we're going towards in an electric future and stuff like that, they are still interesting. They're still different. There's still something exciting about them. However, something I really do need to do, that I'm thinking at the time that I'm filming this, might be next week's job, is I do very much need to go over to York and if I can Leicester actually, and sample the Electroliners, GB kites, and double deckers and single decker ones, because I haven't been on one yet. I just haven't had a chance. I just seem to be by luck missing all of these new electric vehicles and new demonstrators and stuff like that. I mean, because I've been away from Sheffield this year, I've missed out on the BZL Decker and Single. I was then working in Hull when the BZL Single was there, and on the day I decided that I was going to go for riding it the day that it went back. So it was out the day before I saw it. I thought, oh, I'll go on that tomorrow, and it was gone. So I missed out on BZL Single. I haven't done any GB kite singles yet. I haven't done any Electroliner deckers yet. I mean, I want to try and get the Yutong decker in for South Yorkshire, but I have absolutely no idea if it's actually going to be in use when I get there. Again. So it just seems to, I just seem to be getting unlucky with them. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not the be all and end all purely because these demonstrators are going to be around for a while. So I'm not particularly worried about getting demonstrators in early, as the demo buses will be around for a while. And especially if the vehicles are ordered as well, there'll be many different batches of them around and stuff like that to sample. So it's not a screaming rush to get there. I mean, I'd still rather go on a TM Travel Scania Solar over a new electric bus. I mean, if it showed up, if it was somebody I knew driving the Solar and that or the electric decker, I'd probably choose the Solar. So I'd still rather go on the old stuff because I know full well that these brand new electric buses and these demos are going to be around for a bit. So if you have been one of the unlucky folk that have missed them and are thinking, oh, grumble, I'll never get them again, don't worry because they will be back. Those demos will be back in your region. Might not necessarily be in your side of the region, but they'll be in the region. They'll be with a random operator on loan. They're not just gonna disappear off the face of the earth. I mean, these are all brand new vehicle types that we're seeing, so there's definitely future in them. I mean, I remember when I was a youngster, and a Riva Yorkshire had their Pulsar on loan, and I remember bumping into the Pulsar, the loan vehicle. From memory, it was red and silver, I think it was. Although that might have been the B7 Eclipse, because we had the Pulsar on loan, we had the Eclipse on loan, and they were based both out of Heckman-Wyke at one point. The Eclipses were then the most popular one, and they ordered them. I remember going on the Pulsar and thinking, and the Eclipse I think as well, and thinking, yeah, these are cool. These are cool. Hope they don't wipe out the older stuff. And lo and behold, the older ALX 300s that at the time were refused to just go on a demo have now gone. So, although to be fair, the ALX 300s, the DAFs would never quit. They were very slow buses. They call MAN ALX 300s at Stagecoach barges. Now the Riva Yorkshire ALX 300s were definitely the definition of a barge. They were not particularly liked. I do really like the livery as well. Again, it is a free repaint pack. It includes, I believe, the odd McGills actual livery, and then the before livery that McGills acquired these from first in, that a few are still running round in, as well as their own brand new repaints, brand new liveries that they've introduced as well. So it's a nice variation in the repaint pack. Oh, there goes an MMC. And I feel I should probably have a repaint for, but clearly don't. So the McGills Eastern Scottish Midland operation, the ex-Scotland East one, does have quite a few B7 Geminis left and a couple of B9s. So if you are up in the region, you do get interested. They have some X-Explored and D NatX Geminis in operation there, and some X-First ones, including some of the 53 plate new to halfway garage B7 Geminis. That were new to the 41 service between Halfway and Sheffield. So they still have some of those 53 plates there. So there's a nice sort of grouping of B7 Geminis up there. Some quite vintage ones, and from the videos I've seen, they do look quite tidy inside. Some of them are rather hoovery, but they look quite tidy inside. Look like they are looking after them over there at the moment. So if you do fancy a trip up, you like your B7s and you want to get a new batch in, then that might be the place for you. He's still not getting off. There we go. Off my bus. Thank you. He just did an entire round trip with me and then didn't want to get off. I mean, I'll take it as a compliment, but... So there we go. So that was a nice little round trip short working on the one. I did say I'd do some random short workings, and that was just one of them. So yeah, love the motor. As I say, I've explained the rationale as to why streetlights aren't too bad. So I might have convinced the odd one of you, but the majority of you are probably thinking, oh goodness, no. But as I say, as the way the future is going, streetlights aren't that bad, especially when they get older and they sound a bit interesting and a bit more going on. You may find that they do actually become relatively interesting motors. But for now though, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then do be sure to click that like button so that more people can find it and enjoy like you have. And if you haven't already, do be sure to subscribe to the Mobile Videos YouTube channel for more content like this from the real simulation section. That's what I'm doing now. The simulation section, as well as an archive of nearly 6,000 backseats and engine-focused public transport videos from the UK and beyond. With buses, trams, trains and more, there's some fun on there for everyone, an additional 21 videos added per week onto the channel alongside these 2 simulation videos every week. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this one, and I will see you all in the next video, mate. Goodbye for now. Bye.